August.
No, so tell me the origin behind that.
Well, August is my maiden name. At the time, when I picked the name, it was just, I wasn't even married yet, so I just always loved the name August and the meaning behind it, which stands for loyalty and royalty as well. Events just came from just doing a play on events with a name.
And A, just playing off of August. Oh, awesome. And so, are you from Chicago?
Yes, I am.
Born and raised? Okay, what side of town?
Right now I reside on the south side.
And where did you grow up? What side of town did you grow up on?
I actually grew up in the south suburbs. So
okay.
I've been a city girl for about 15 years now.
Okay. Do you miss the suburbs, or like, you know, because I know some people will say the city is kind of hard to deal with. So how do you feel about it today? In the way that our city, Chicago, is made up? Like, is it something that you like or don't like?
The only thing I miss about the suburbs is that everything was right there. We had access to more things.
Access. And that's what we're going to talk about, is creating a city that we can have access to everything that we need, that we don't have to go outside of our city to be able to do that and get buy goods and services. So we're going to talk a little bit about, you know, why did you start your company? What was the motivation? How long have you been in business?
Since 2009.
Okay. So that's 8 years, right? Yeah.
That was actually the reason why I started my business, because there weren't any community events that were the same as what's downtown or even in the south suburbs. I was planning public events. My first event was a community event called Girls with Pearls tea party that I started for my young daughter. I was just having a small tea event with her and a few friends, and then their mom started inviting other friends, and it just grew into about 80 girls. And I did it in the Bronzeville community. At the time I was living in Bronzeville. We didn't have a lot of restaurants. It was at Blue 47, which was probably like one of maybe two restaurants, like real
47,
restaurants.
Right.
So I had it there, and that's where I got my first media mention, the Chicago Sun-Times. And then from there, I did about maybe 8 more of those. Like, they were every other month.
Nice.
And then I started doing private movie screening events at 87th Movie Theater, which is now Studio Movie Grill. And I chose to do those things in those areas because most of those people were going to like Icon, or we were still going like to Macy's or the Walnut Room, things like that. So I was just trying to show our community that we don't have to go past Roosevelt Road to have the same experience.
And so let's talk about, that experience for you. Is that something you saw as a little girl, that you felt that these experiences were just not made available? Was that something that you saw and you said, you know what? A lot of times I hear from everybody is, when I was a little girl, I saw this. So was that something that you saw as a little girl?
So most of my experience with my business, everything comes from my childhood. So my mother did a lot of home entertaining. I have a big family. So we did everything at our house. We traveled together, even if it wasn't like international. Like, we would travel to other cities, just experience what they have to offer. We did a lot downtown, unfortunately, because that was our only option. Like seeing the Christmas lights and being up and down Michigan Avenue, State Street. So as I got older, now I have my own kids, it's nice to take them to those things. But then I was also trying to teach them like the only reason why we can have those things in our neighborhood is if we put them in our neighborhood. So during the time like doing those public movie screenings, it was really hard because I got a lot of negative feedback. I would literally have people calling and complaining that, they want to come to the event, it's nice, but why is it on 87? And I would ask, well, where do you live at? And they're like 95th. So you want to drive past 87 just to say you're downtown. And that just motivated me to keep doing it, but unfortunately, I had to stop, of course, because financial reasons. It's not something that I could keep, supporting to do without, sponsorships.
Yeah, and that's about shifting the narrative, right? And so understanding that when we have viable businesses, then people want to come and shop and buy real estate and live and create that. So your business is a business that's been around for 7 years, and so you were, and I say this, innovative. Before there was a word that everybody was talking about, innovation, and being innovative and doing something that was not the norm because people were traveling downtown to do that. So you are a service-based business, but you offer a product of experience because every day people are paying for experiences. And that Nielsen put out this report that 62% of Black women agree that they enjoy wandering into a store looking for new, interesting products. So that tells me that we're always looking for something new to be able to do, whether that's in our homes, to do something in our homes or do something, for our companies. So talk about how, when you think of that stat, how that helps grow your business.
When I hear that status, it makes me think of clients that come to me that want to have like a first time experience. As far as like there may be someone that's never had a birthday celebration and they're turning 40. So they want to create this experience not just for them but for their close friends, and that experience can come from where they're at, telling their life story like through the event. What are they eating? Like what are they listening to? So it's like setting a whole environment for them. So when I hear statuses like that, it just shows me that people are always looking for, not just for a product, but looking for an experience as well.
But your product is, I think it's experience. Everybody's paying for this experience to go, to go to a game, right? And it's all about, I want to have the VI, I want to sit in the first row, I want to have this. That's an experience, and that's a product. And understanding that, and that product can cost you up to thousands of dollars to go see Janet Jackson or whomever, but you got front row seating, you got, limo service. That's what you provide. Those are the services that you provide. And where are you located? Like where is your location, your office location?
My office is at 1511 East 53rd Street.
Okay.
Which is in the Hyde Park area. I also work out of my home in the Woodline community.
Nice. So you are servicing both the Hyde Park and Woodline communities. And so, understanding that also says that, which is, a short mile away from where you work and live. And so that's the other part that we're also getting people to understand, is that where you live can be where you work, right? And so we can be within that 1 or 2 mile radius and do business. So I really want to talk about your ask, okay? And what are you asking for as it relates to capital?
As far as amount? So my ask is for $150,000.
Okay.
$150,000.
Okay.
So primarily my main focus right now is moving to an actual studio space.
Okay.
So the studio space consists of not just an office space, but our business has grown drastically from event planning to event design and floral work.
Nice.
So our inventory right now needs about, alone by itself, 500 or 600 square feet. So the studio space will be our studio for like showcasing our work. Also our production area, and then also consists of a small event space.
Nice.
So
that you can rent out to various entrepreneurs or companies or even people that live in the community, and having that as an offering. Because again, if you're, and what area would you like for this space to be at?
I would like to be ideally I would like to be in Woodline or Inglewood.
Okay.
But because I know like the market is not ready for those areas, the market isn't, those communities are not 100% ready for like the service I provide. And when I say ready for, it's just because it's not anything there right now existing that's similar. There are a couple areas that have florists or flower shops, but that's all they may provide, and it's more of a traditional mom and pop like flower shop or 1-800-Flowers, where you know exactly what you're getting. But the difference with our flower work is like we're doing actual design, so we're creating something custom for each client or business that's ordering from us.
That's awesome. And so, I don't know about you, but flowers, I mean, I'm sure you see this, but for women, flowers make us feel really sweet and special and girly. When we walk into the house and see flowers or smell flowers, it makes us feel a certain kind of way. And so, with your business, is that what you do with your customers, that people feel a certain kind of way?
Yeah, so most of my clients, like as of right now, I haven't done any advertising with my business. Everything has been word of mouth, or a lot of it also comes from social media. Because people, now I have 2 pages for social media. I'm terrible with my business page. But my personal page, the people that follow me on there, and a lot of them are from when I first started doing public events, but they follow me because they feel like they can connect with me because I talk a lot about myself, things that I may be going through, my family, my kids, my marriage. Now, just like I'm very transparent, so the average person feels like they can connect with me that way.
And there's a certain level that there's a value in that, because it allows for people to know that you're a human and that they can touch you and they can feel you and they can do those things. Have you received any previous investment from any other source?
No. The only financial assistance that I've ever received at this time is from family.
Okay. And that's many of us, right? Many of us are, calling our, cousins, moms, dads. I'm short this month. Can you help us out? But it's, and I want to talk about that. How is that? Is that because I'm short, or is it, here's a check for $5,000, have your way?
It's definitely a little of both.
Okay.
So 3 years ago, I was laid off. I've always had a full-time job up until 3 years ago. So at that point, I decided to go full-time with my business. So I tried the GoFund page, things like that. That was somewhat successful, but majority of it came from my sister, actually, who decided that she would help back me in things that I needed. Like I wanted to go ahead and become an LLC, like having like a firm legal contract. So like paying for my legal fees, helping me pay for like some of my personal expenses, helping with some of my inventory supplies. If I had an event, like most corporate clients that I have, we don't get paid until after
60, 30 days. By this time, you're getting eviction letters and all kinds of stuff. So, yes.
That's a whole nother.
That's a whole nother story, right? A whole nother show. I know.
That's something different.
Yes.
So like even now, I have to ask for hey, I need a loan until I get my check from this event. And it doesn't matter if the event is small or big, whatever it may be, it's just the point that I'm still needing financial assistance. And it hurts sometimes because there's a lot of jobs that I may turn down because I know I don't have the manpower. And that's another thing that's part of my ask, is to be able to hire a part-time person and to be able to have freelancers, on call that I know I can pay.
Absolutely.
When the time comes. But there's a lot of things that I can't do because I don't have enough production space for it or capacity with manpower to do it.
And that's I think that's one of the things that women say all the time is that I want to get that $1 million contract, but I don't have the capacity to hire someone to do that. So many of us are bootstrapping, right? We are robbing Peter to pay Paul, somebody said, but at some point Paul tired, right? Paul I'm tired of it. And so realizing that we have to be able to understand that we've got to get a little bit of a push. And so, I've talked about the startup community, and I've talked about existing business owner having access to capital. And so understanding that you are a founder of a business, but you want to create a legacy. And so we want to talk about legacy and what that means for you as you continue to build on your business. What does legacy look like for you?
So for me, as a mother, my legacy is my children. So as I said before, what made me start my business, or why I'm so passionate about, is things from my childhood. So the legacy from my parents is very, very important to me. So the things that I've learned from them, not just when it comes to jobs, careers, or financial, but just the type of person that you are overall, is the type of legacy that I would want to leave to my children. But a lot of me right now is the work and the things that I offer and I put into my business. And it comes out because most of my clients would say how you know, I felt like working with Alicia. Not just necessarily the logistics or, I have this wonderful, beautiful centerpiece, or I have this gorgeous linen. But it was Alicia actually took time to learn me, understand me, my guests, my vision, what I was trying to create in this moment. So it's more of like a hospitality service that comes first. So I'm pretty sure, like, my kids would say, like, I'm always telling them, like, you have to make sure, but you do anything, like, how are you presenting yourself to the world?
Yeah.
How are you presenting yourself to your friends, to your classmates, you know, to your parents, to your family? Like, how are you making people feel? And I feel like that would go with any career or job that that you choose to do in life.
Absolutely.
So building, not only with building that up, but building a business that whatever they decide to do. My son is considered a creative. So if this is something that he decides that he wants to pick up, you know, once, you know, I'm no longer here or whatever, I just want to be able to leave that type of option for them, or leave it to like another family member or whoever it is that comes underneath me that may be a valuable asset to my company.
And so I know that in Chicago, in Hyde Park is building. They have one hotel, and they're building another hotel. How will that impact your business, or help? I mean, in a good way or in a bad way?
I think it may impact because it will just bring more people, more traffic to the area. Even though Hyde Park is an area that technically some may think they don't need the traffic or they have enough, but it also affects the surrounding areas of Hyde Park. And honestly, like, those areas is more important to me than Hyde Park, because Hyde Park has majority of what Inglewood wants or Woodline wants, or even what Bronzeville they want.
Right.
Yeah, like they have 2 grocery stores.
Yeah.
Like we now have 1.
Right.
So they have multiple eating restaurants. They have 2 floors. You know, they have more than one option for event space. So there's things there that it would just bring more people to Hyde Park. And then it gives me another place where I can showcase my business, because I also offer a weekly or monthly subscription for flowers to businesses and restaurants. So even me having somewhere else to showcase my product.
Because the reality of it all is, when I think of you, Alicia, I think about, you know, the Hilton brand, the Sheraton brand, and Marriott Me. You know, there's all hospitality. And so when you walk into that space, you've got, I mean, it's all about the scent. It's all about the flowers. It's all about the floor. It's all about the person greeting you when you park your car, to the person that greets you at the reservation. You're doing that same service. And so that is what we have to understand, you know, with event planning, that is a product and service business. Because when I walk into a Hilton, it's a service space, but they have a certain product that when you walk in, you can't get anywhere else, or you know, at a Sheraton or a Marriott or what have you. And so creating that and bringing those kinds of, you know, boutique businesses that drives impact for smaller businesses to be able to benefit for that. So that's important for us to be able to talk about, because the more that is brought into these communities, the more businesses like you can continue to have more buyers and more suppliers too. Because part of it is that you are, you know, going to different places, and if it's not in your community, you're going outside of your community to go buy it, which means that we've talked about this, that dollar leaves that community. And when people buy property, they want to be able to know that I can drop my kid off down the street, I can go get me some flowers, I can go work out, you know, I can get my nice apparel, you know, I can get everything I need in that community, and I actually am supporting women of color. And so that's the most important thing we want to make certain happens. So our ask is $150,000. And so the other thing I wanted to talk, you have a daughter, right? What does your daughter say when she sees you and all the other entrepreneurs you know within the area? What does she say about that?
So my daughter just started high school. So these are things that I've been instilling in her for the longest. Like I grew up with my brother and sister are both entrepreneurs, and as well as I have a very close aunt that's an entrepreneur. So I grew up like seeing that you're creating your own path, you're creating your own legacy, and then your peers are as well. So at first it was a little difficult for her, but now that she's older and some of my very close friends are business owners, she sees it. She sees more like the passion, the drive, determination, and just being focused. Like my daughter sees me cry, break down. She sees me moody. She sees me happy, excited if I'm working on something new. She sees every stage of this. So whether she decides to be an entrepreneur on her own or whether she decides to work in corporate, she wants to be a pediatrician actually. So whatever way she decides to go, she knows that, you know, there's a process through everything. There's an emotion through everything. And it's okay to display that. It's okay to
cry.
Yeah.
It's okay to be mad because you don't have a check, right?
They know that. My kids know that. Like, don't ask me for that. It's been a bad month. Like, I'm very transparent and blunt with them. Like, don't know you cannot get that. Like, I need to do X, Y, and Z. I even have them like on a small schedule. Like, they have to clean the buckets. I use buckets for the flowers. They have to help me, you know, with like inventory, or they have to help me in the office. Like, so she sees, she sees all that.
Yeah.
So hopefully that she will take from that and apply it to whatever she decides to do.
So I talk about paying it forward. So, you know, being able to, you know, go to various investors and tell them, hey, invest, but we have to continue to pay it forward. So what does that look like for you?
So also one of my goals as well with my business is to teach our youth more about the hospitality industry, the travel and trade shows and things like that go on. Just even here in Chicago is ridiculous. Like the industry for it is very lucrative, and people are making a living off of this. So I would like to be able to train our youth, well, not just myself, but other people that are in the industry, from audiovisual, from carpenters that's building stages, from videographers, photographers. You know, most of our youth, they live on social media, so they see these things. They see Cardi B's party, they see Puff Daddy's all-white party, but they're or the reality show, but they're not seeing like the people behind it that's producing it. Like their goal is to be the basketball player or to be the reality star, because they think that's what the money is, but they're not realizing the people behind the scenes they're living, they're making money, and they love what they're doing. So there's not a lot of options for the youth and within our community for that. So that is one of my goals, to work with high school students so that they can turn around and produce like their own proms, their own graduations, or their own community events.
That's awesome.
So that's my way of paying for it, because I'm not like someone that has a large investments where I can just give money, because sometimes just throwing money at the problem is not the solution.
Absolutely.
So.
But you're getting a skill, and you know, we talked about this, and then you have some stake in it, right? You have some stake in it to say that I helped to build that. So thank you, Alicia. This was awesome. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.